All right, welcome to the Sergio Mora Show, starring Sergio Mora, produced by Sergio Mora, edited by Sergio Mora, booked by Sergio Mora. And if you're watching DAZN this week, you would only think that The Fighter and the Writer is a Sergio Mora vehicle.
Where's this going?
Right?
Where's this going? I feel like you're going to set me up for a joke or something like that.
I have to, because I was watching the Grand Arrivals on DAZN this week. The Grand Arrivals for the Edgar Berlanga, Hamza Sheeraz, Shakur Stevenson, William Zepeda fight, and I stumbled across this.
I'm around greatness. I mean, I got to tell you one thing, man. I love and appreciate great writing. Mike Coppinger, you know, I have a show called The Fighter and the Writer. I love your writing. Welcome to the broadcast.
Riding snake.
Now, hold on. Before we get into this, can we just play the last part one more time? What is that laugh? What is that laugh? Are you a Bond villain?
No. It was just basically I seen that Mike Coppinger was a little nervous being on the broadcast. I wanted to throw a jab at you, saying that I'm with a writer, I was a fighter, but he just didn't give me no feedback. He just stared blankly at my face, and I had to laugh it off. I was laughing at myself, but I had to laugh it off. But Mike, I love you.
All right. We're going to talk about the fight card this weekend. Two fight cards this weekend. Katie Taylor and Amanda Serrano are going to run it back at least one more time. We've got the two double main event happening in Queens on Saturday. But Sergio, as we begin every show, let's talk some winners and losers. Give me your winner of the week.
Bam Rodriguez, man, you got to give it to this kid. What he's doing at 25 years old, building a Hall of Fame resume, taking champion after champion, and already announcing his second fight against a second undefeated champion. I mean, who's doing that right now? Who's doing that? Nobody. Bam Rodriguez is doing it. So I got to give a lot of credit, not only to him, his trainer, Team Bam, his promoter, everyone involved, moving that kid to the superstar that he's becoming. Bam Rodriguez is my winner of the week and my winner of the year and everything.
Bam has a chance to be fighter of the year. He hasn't fought yet, but he's got Fumalele Cafu coming up in mid-July, and if he wins that fight, he's got Fernando Martinez coming up end of the year. Those would be two quality wins that would leave Bam one belt away from being undisputed at 115 pounds. My winner of the week is women's boxing, because women's boxing is getting a huge platform on Friday. The Taylor-Serrano fight is not just about Katie Taylor and Amanda Serrano fighting for the undisputed championship at 140 pounds. It is about all the women that are fighting on the undercard. 9 current world champions on that card. 17 world title belts at stake on that card. 4 of the top 10 women in all of boxing fighting on that card. It is a showcase for women's boxing. So bravo to women's boxing. Bravo to MVP, Netflix, for giving them this kind of platform to show on. And hopefully it's a phenomenal show for everybody from top to bottom.
I agree. It's time that women get this the big stage. And that's what I credit Jake Paul for in MVP Promotions, because I've given him a lot of criticism, but that's what we do have to give him credit for. You know, the fact that he's paying women more, they put on the great shows. I mean, this is a trilogy that's going to go down in history, or herstory, like they like to say. I love the fact that now it's time. And then fighters like Alicia Baumgartner, who love and crave that attention, and once the camera is on them, they dance, they smile, and still get the knockouts, still go for the big punches. So women and men, they deserve the same pay, the same limelight, and now they're getting the same stage. So bravo.
Yeah, and you can't say that, you know, a women's boxing fight might be boring. Men's boxing is boring. I mean, did you not watch Maura Mosley from 2011? I mean,
I was skilled and calculated. I don't know
want to
boring.
take a nap. Let me tell you, that is a lullaby if I've ever seen one. All right, give me your loser of the week.
My loser of the week is Francisco Rodriguez, popping for PED, man. Just another Mexican fighter popping. It's a terrible look, because Mexicans are known to give everything they have. They have the motor, the conditioning, the chin, the machismo. People love Mexican fighters, but now, you know, with all these, you know, negative tests, positive tests, it's just a negative cloud, you know, over the great Mexican champion. So yeah, I mean, I think that's my loser of the week, Francisco Rodriguez.
Yeah, for context, Francisco Rodriguez beat the bejesus out of Galal Yafai just a few weeks ago, a fight that had many people wondering if Galal would ever fight again after that, if he had reached his ceiling. He tests positive for a banned substance, and now that fight presumably will get overturned into a no contest. You know, breathing new life maybe into the career of Galal Yafai. I'm sure he can justify it to himself, say, hey, this guy was on something, that's why I lost that fight. But yeah,
Sadly, no. You know, that's the thing about fighters. You know, when they take those physical fights, those physical beatings, even if they win that fight, that the physicality of that alone won't let them come back from it. It's just, you know, you only have a certain amount of wars in your body, in your tank, and I think a lot of your fight just gave up a big one.
Okay, my loser of the week, and I'm so sorry to say this, is Ricky Hatton. I loved Ricky Hatton. That Mayweather-Hatton fight at the MGM Grand Garden Arena back years ago, a decade plus ago, that was one of the greatest experiences I've ever been at, where the Brits, they drank the MGM out of beer. That was phenomenal.
Out of Guinness.
I think it was beer total. I think they drank the whole place out of beer. But he's back. Ricky Hatton is back. He's 46 years old. He's older than you and me, and he is back fighting in Dubai. He announced this fight this week. It's not against any kind of real opponent, but Sergio, I don't want to see Ricky Hatton back in the ring again. We saw him try to make a comeback when he was still in shape about 13 years ago. That didn't go his way. I'm good with Ricky Hatton. I think that's kind of, I love you, Ricky, but you're my loser of the week for that, man.
You're not my loser. I love Ricky Hatton, whoever it is. If you want to come back and get a payday, we miss you, and we miss your name, and he's a legend, man. People love him. I've never seen that atmosphere before, so bring the drums, bring everybody across the pond. If you want to come back for one more fight, one more payday, one more hurrah, the swan song for Ricky Hatton, I'm on board, but just one fight.
But it's not across the pond. It's in Dubai.
But he's going to bring the fans from across the pond. They travel everywhere, and you know that.
I don't think Ricky Hatton has the same fan base he used to. I don't think that they're still traveling to see Ricky Hatton in a battle of washed-up guys over Dubai. I don't like it. I don't like when anybody that age. I mean, we'll get to Manny Pacquiao next week, but I don't like when anybody that age is still fighting. It just leaves kind of a stink on their overall resume. All right. Let's talk about the fight card that we're going to watch on Friday, Madison Square Garden. It has been 3 years, Sergio, since Katie Taylor and Amanda Serrano danced the first time. That was a super competitive fight, which Katie Taylor won by decision. A couple of years later, last summer, they fight again on the undercard of Jake Paul against Mike Tyson. Katie Taylor, once again, wins a highly competitive decision. Now they're doing it again, back at MSG. And at 140 pounds for the 140-pound undisputed championship. We have seen 20 rounds of Taylor and Serrano. And in those 20 rounds, two things have happened. One, Amanda Serrano has hurt Katie Taylor. Did it in the first fight and did it in the second fight. But in both, Katie Taylor has done enough to squeeze out decision wins. So what needs to change for Amanda Serrano to finally get a decision, to finally get a win against Katie Taylor?
It's going to have to be that lead hand. I mean, she's the aggressive southpaw, so use that advantage. You know, you got to come in with that right hand. You got to tap the jab's going to be the key. Break that distance, because Katie Taylor has the faster feet. Serrano has the power, the body shots, but she fights flat-footed. So it's hard for her to catch up when Katie Taylor's boxing around the entire ring. But Katie Taylor is in her late 30s now. She's survived war after war and come back. So that odometer is already getting full with those mileage.
Odometer's up on Amanda Serrano, too. Like, it's not like she's in her late 20s.
But I just mentioned, she doesn't need her feet. She doesn't bounce on her toes. You know, she's more flat-footed. She can dig to the body. She has the power that carries late. Mm-hmm. So that's the reason I think I favor her for this fight, because she's hurt Katie Taylor late in these fights. You know, the first one was a split decision, close competition.
Not late, though. She got Katie early in the second fight, and she got her in the middle rounds in the first fight. Like, the strength of Katie Taylor, I think, is her ability to recover. Like, she has got this superpower where her battery just goes back up to 100% faster than probably anyone in women's boxing. And that's how she's been able to squeeze out these decision victories. Like, Amanda Serrano, her punch output is ridiculous. Like, she has like a William Zepeda-esque punch output, to borrow a fighter that we're going to talk about in a few minutes. But Katie Taylor, in each of these fights, she just finds ways to steal rounds. Like, she is a master of fighting and winning at 2-minute rounds, where she might lose the overall battle of punches thrown, even punches landed, but she'll find ways to like throw these flurries and land these shots that judge is going to be like, you know what? In a super competitive round, that combination, that stood out to me. That's what I think Amanda has to overcome. She has to be switched on for all 2 minutes of every single round. That's the one difference, because I think Katie did just enough in the first couple of fights to squeeze out enough of these rounds to win those decisions.
Yeah, in boxing, there's a term, it's called stealing rounds, right? Where you get one fighter do a shoe shine and just land, 4, 5, 6 punches that look flashy, but maybe weren't as effective or as powerful or as strong as like a Serrano. Think Marvin Hagler, Sugar Ray Leonard. That was a competitive fight. It was a southpaw versus the orthodox fighter. Hagler was landing the hardest shots. He was always coming forward. He was the aggressor. But it was Sugar Ray Leonard, stealing the rounds by doing the shoe shine, getting the crowd up. That sways the judges as well, because the judges are human, the fans are human, everyone's human here. So we appreciate magic when it's happening in front of our eyes, and sometimes we actually are gravitating towards that. So I think that's what Serrano needs to do. Not let Katie Taylor steal those rounds. Don't let the crowd get involved. Keep attacking. Keep aiming at the chest area. Dig the body. Serrano's one of the best body punchers, if not the best body puncher in boxing. So the body's going to slow down the legs, attack the torso, and then maybe Katie Taylor will crumble this time.
So I'm going to ask you the question that I'm going to ask you about the next two fights as well. Who needs this win more? Both these women are first ballot Hall of Famers. Both these women have ridiculous resumes. Amanda has won world championships from 115 pounds up to 140. Insane. Katie Taylor's been undisputed in multiple weight classes. But which of these two women needs a win more?
I mean, that's easy. I mean, the fighter that's 0-2 in this trilogy, and that's Amanda Serrano. I mean, she's this close away from actually winning this fight, this trilogy, because she does everything right, but she just needs to close out stronger. She can't let Katie Taylor do the shoe shines or steal the round. So if she can actually start off stronger, she's a younger fighter, she's a fresher fighter, dig the body, I think she's going to actually do a lot better this time around, because they're so familiar with each other. They've already felt each other's power, their speed. She already knows how to gauge the footwork and all that. So I think this time around, Serrano will close the deal and seal the deal and maybe even get a stoppage.
I think Amanda needs it more as well, for all the reasons you said there. She is 0-2 officially. And however you scored the first two fights, Katie won them. Simple as that. If Amanda can't beat Katie this time, it's always going to be kind of on her resume that she was 0-3 against Katie Taylor. She will still be, a 7-division world champion. She will still be one of the greatest women of this generation. But we'll look at that resume and said when she stepped up to the highest of levels, she couldn't get a win each time. Plus, if I'm Amanda Serrano, I'm thinking of this series as like best of 5 now.
No, they don't have 5.
I'm just saying, but if you're a man and you're 0-2, if you win this next fight, aren't you saying to Katie, let's do it again? I'll go to Croke Park this time and fight you in Croke Park in a huge event. And if I win there, let's go to Puerto Rico and do it in my backyard for the 5th and deciding match. I'm just telling you, if Amanda wins, we're not done with this. We're not done with this rivalry.
I believe it. I mean, look at how many times we had to see Pacquiao versus Marquez.
4 times,
we had to see it the 4 times. So yeah, I mean, it's believable. Some guys or women they're made for each other. I mean, you think Frazier and Ali and Gotti Ward, Canelo and Golovkin. There's so many greats that you need to see it more than once, twice, 3 times.
How many times have you seen a 5-time matchup? You kind of got to go back to the days of like Sugar Ray Robinson, Jake LaMotta to see those types of rivalries in a kind of short, compact window.
How do you say 5-time? Five-some, the quintuplets?
I'm not doing this.
But yeah, we want to see that, the number 5. But look, right now we start with number 3, and we're doing it here in New York City, and there's magic in the air, man. Whenever you're in New York, you want to shine. They've already shined once before, and whenever you're fighting in front of your crowd, like Serrano is, that you get the chills, the goosebumps, and she's familiar with it. And Katie Taylor, she's been fighting abroad since she was in the Olympics, so it's nothing new for her. It's just they're tailor-made for each other. The fans love it. I'm just glad they finally got the big stage, the huge stage, all eyes on them because they produce, man. So now they're getting paid like the champions they are.
Yeah, I was at the first fight, and it was one of the few times I can remember where a crowd was evenly split.
Right.
You had half the building at MSG there to support the Puerto Rican in Serrano. You had half the building there to support the Irish fighter in Katie Taylor. It was an electric atmosphere back in 2022. I have no doubt it's going to be a great atmosphere when it happens on Friday. All right. The card that we're going to be working on Saturday in Queens, headlined by Hamza Sheeraz against Edgar Berlanga. This is a really interesting main event, Sergio, because Edgar Berlanga, we've seen do some really incredible things. That first-round knockout streak that he had early in his career, how he, battled his way into contention to fight Canelo Alvarez, how he fought Canelo Alvarez. A lot of people thought he was going to get steamrolled when he got knocked down early in the fight. People thought that might be it. He got up, threw punches with Canelo, just showed out in that fight in a good way. Going up against Sheeraz, who like a year ago we thought could be the next big thing in multiple weight classes. After he battered Ammo Williams, everyone was looking at Hamza Sheeraz and saying, this guy could be next. Then, a few months ago, you had the fight against Carlos Adames, where Hamza Sheeraz did not look good, did not look like he liked getting hit, did look tentative the entire fight. So I'll ask you this. Who needs a win more between these two guys, Edgar Berlanga or Hamza Sheeraz?
Berlanga, because look, for that Canelo fight that you were just talking about, he showed up, but he didn't show out. You know, he didn't try to go out on his shield. He didn't really try to do something great. He was happy to be there with a great fighter. But look, he learned from that experience, and he already knows what it's like to face greatness. So I think, you know, experience, the power that he carries late. I think Berlanga is one of these fighters that, you know, carries the power early, mid, and late. That's a gift. That's a gift. You mentioned about the first round knockouts, 16 straight first-round knockouts. That's incredible. That's a record that we'll probably never see broken. I'll be honest with you. I'm not just saying that. So Berlanga has a lot going for him, and he's in his hometown. So he knows how to be the bad boy. He knows how to play the villain. He knows how to work the crowd. He knows how to get under people's skin. It's Sheeraz that we want to, you know, question here. Can he take the punch? Can he take the punch moving up in weight? I mean, he's a younger, fresher fighter. He's longer. Yeah, he has all the advantages. But how is he going to react when he gets clipped on that chin? Because he will get clipped. And this is a sport where not only do you have to have power, speed, but you have to have punch resistance. And if you have that or you're lacking that, then you can't be a championship fighter. So these are a lot of questions that we're going to see answered by Sheeraz. And I think Berlanga has, you got to favor Berlanga in that one.
There's so many questions about both these guys, but I agree with you. Edgar Berlanga badly needs this win because Edgar Berlanga kind of fancies himself a superstar, and he certainly has the style and he's got the flair, but he does not have the resume. Like the best win of Edgar Berlanga's career was probably the win over Jason Quigley, right? A former 160-pound title challenger who was moving up in weight, and that turned out to be basically the end of Jay Quigley's career. Beyond that, it's just been kind of a whole bunch of guys that aren't very good. Like his last opponent, I'm sorry, that was one of the worst main events that's ever been made. Like his last opponent had no business being in the ring with Edgar Berlanga. Now, Edgar did what he had to do, got a first-round knockout, got back to his winning ways. But Jason Quigley, Padraig McGrory, some of these guys he fought during that knockout streak, they're just not top guys. Like Edgar Berlanga needs to prove that he's worthy of the lofty rankings he's been getting by some of these sanctioning bodies. Worthy that it wasn't just politics that put him in position to fight Canelo Alvarez. He's got a lot. Like if he goes out and he gets his clock cleaned by Hamza Sheeraz, I don't know where he goes from there. Like he'll still fight, no doubt about it. But like getting beat up by Canelo is one thing. Getting beat up by Hamza Sheeraz is entirely different. So I think Edgar's got a ton of pressure on his shoulders. I am curious to see about Hamza Sheeraz, though. Like, I was all in on Hamza when he beat Ammo Williams. Ammo Williams is a good fighter, and Hamza beat him up.
But everything switched once he fought Carlos Adames.
So let me ask you this. What did you think of that? Because like I couldn't figure out why he was so tentative against Carlos Adames. Like Carlos Adames is a former junior middleweight. Yes, he's a champ at 160, but a former junior middleweight who isn't known for enormous power. Like, it wasn't like he was fighting a huge puncher at 160. But Sheeraz just kept the guard up, wasn't throwing the right hand. He looked like a different fighter against Adames.
Because Adames has championship experience. He knows how to shell up. He's a strong fighter. He knows how to fight a little shorter. He knows how to break the distance. So the size, the length, and the youth wasn't enough for Sheeraz. So the thing about Carlos Adames, and we will see Adames again because Adames is a championship level fighter still.
He'll be back.
And he didn't pass that test. And he should have lost that fight.
Should have.
I
scored it for Adames there. I thought he won.
You know, you take a lot of criticism for your scorecards. You got it right there, Chris Mannix.
Was there any need to bring up my criticism, my scorecards?
I just got to tell you that a lot of people frown upon them, including myself.
But frown upon you.
But they got it right because he should have lost that fight. So this is a fight where he needs to show up. He needs to show out. He needs to take opportunities to land something big. He can't be afraid of Berlanga's power because he does have, I think, the better technique, slightly better technique early in the first half of the fight. So if he goes punch for punch with Berlanga and you can catch him in between the shots. We've seen Berlanga go down before. He has a pretty good chin, but we've seen him go down by lesser punches.
Yeah.
A couple times by lesser punchers. I think Sheeraz is a big middleweight moving up in weight, but he's still carrying
huge.
power.
You see these two guys face to face?
The biggest middleweight I've ever seen.
That was unbelievable.
The biggest middleweight, and that was the where I made my career as a middleweight. This is the biggest 160-pounder I've ever seen in my life. Even at 168, he still looks big.
Which could potentially explain the Adames fight. Like, it must have taken a lot for him to get down to 160 pounds. You know, when you're that drained, it affects you in the ring. Maybe the extra 8 pounds, that's a lot of weight too. Go and get an 8 extra pounds, that could potentially help him. I just need to see him willing to engage in this fight because Berlanga is going to make you fight. Like, at some point, Berlanga is going to slug it out with you. If he can slug back, if he's willing to let those hands go, he can win this fight. But if he shells up, it could be a late round knockout or a lopsided decision.
That's exactly what I just said, Chris. And controlling the clock as well, because if they're going to be exchanging punches, it's going to be technique. I'm going to favor Sheeraz on that one. Punching in between the shots. Both of them are pretty good at that, but I like the catching counters by Sheeraz on this one. But how is he going to take the power? How is he going to take those punches? If his legs quiver, he's just remotely hurt, Berlanga's going to go for the kill. So that's going to be the question that we need answered.
All right, the co-main event is good enough to be a main event, which is why they're calling it two main events here in New York City. Shakur Stevenson, the WBC 135-pound champion, he is finally going to defend his title against William Zepeda. This is a fight that we've been talking about for over a year now. Shakur and Zepeda, both undefeated. Zepeda has been mowing down these kind of B and C level opponents. Struggled with Tevin Farmer, we'll get into that. Struggled with Tevin over the last two fights, but has risen to the top of the 135-pound rankings. Shakur, 3-division world champion, but this is going to be the best opponent that he's faced as well. So I'll ask you the same thing. Who needs a win in this fight more, Shakur or William Zepeda?
I mean, both of them need to win. They're both undefeated. They're both they both earned this spot. But I'm going to say Shakur Stevenson because, look, he gets a lot of hate, a lot of criticism by not taking chances because he's so naturally gifted and talented with his high fight IQ. I mean, he's like a cheetah, bounces in and out, the cat-like reflexes. But he doesn't take chances when he's dominating a fight, and that's what leaves a sour taste in fans' mouths. You know, you want the big spots, you want the big paydays, you want the big names. Well, you also got to step on the gas when you have the advantages. This is a fight where he's going to be forced to fight. Stevenson is going to be forced to fight, and because of that, I think the style that Zepeda brings, 100 punches around, throwing over 1,000, breaking records, that's going to actually be tailor-made for Stevenson. He may not be a heavy power puncher, Shakur is, but I think the body is going to be the key because when it comes to these tough Mexicans that can take a big shot upstairs, it's softening them up to the belly that's actually going to do it. I mean, think Pernell Whitaker Chavez, you know. Whitaker's a southpaw. Whitaker wasn't a power puncher, but Whitaker dug the body, man, and that's how he was able to slow down and actually should have beaten Chavez in that fight. So I think that's going to be the key here. And the fact that Zepeda has fought so many southpaws, he's going to be very familiar from that left-handed stance. So that's the reason it's going to be a mouth-watering, type fight. But I got to lean towards Shakur in this fight.
I'm glad you mentioned Sweet Pea because I've been thinking about this. Like, I think Shakur has the potential to be the next generationally great defensive fighter. Like, Sweet Pea in the 1990s was that guy, a generationally great defensive fighter. After that, you had Floyd Mayweather, a generationally great defensive fighter. I think Shakur has the skill set to be like them. But those guys, they proved it at the highest level. Sweet Pea proved it to a degree against Chavez, certainly against Oscar De La Hoya when he fought him on the big stage. Mayweather, he did it early in his career against Corrales, the rematch with Jose Luis Castillo. Obviously fought some good guys late as well. This is the opportunity that Shakur has to prove that he's the next guy. I know you're going to disagree a little bit with that, but hear me out. This is his chance because even though I think Shakur's great, I think he is that guy, but thus far, the matchmaking for him has been really good. Like, Top Rank, who he was with for most of his career, is known for being excellent matchmakers, right? Shakur, he's a 3-division world champion. Can't take that away from him. 2 of those belts were vacant, though. He won a belt at 126, that was vacant, and 135, that was vacant. He does have great wins. The Oscar Valdez win was a great win, and he beat up Jamel Herring to win that fight 130 pounds. But he needs this opportunity to show out. William Zepeda is going to make him fight. William Zepeda is going to try throw 100 punches per round. This is Shakur's chance to have the type of performance that made us think about Sweet Pea in the 1990s that he was a great defensive fighter, and Floyd in the early 2000s that he was a great defensive fighter. I think this is Shakur's chance to stamp himself as one of those guys.
I agree, but I know there's a lot of people watching this that think it's blasphemy for you to compare anyone to Sweet Pea Whitaker. Pernell Whitaker is, in my opinion, the greatest defensive fighter. And he did it early in his career, and he did it late in his career because he was able to do it flat-footed with the upper body. The difference with Shakur is he jumps out of range to even punch or counter. So it's totally different. It's like Amir Khan early in the days where he's so fast with his footwork. Sweet Pea will stand right in front of you.
I'm not comparing the
Floyd
size.
will stand right in front of you and do it and make you miss completely. So the defensive tactics are totally different. But yes, I agree. Generational talent, 3-division world champion, incredible high fight IQ, but he needs to show up, he needs to show out, and he needs to go for the stoppages when he has all the physical advantages, speed, the body punching, the height, the range, the leap. Take some chances, win the crowd, win the fans, and then maybe you can win the big paydays like he wants.
Yeah, I'm not comparing the style of Shakur to Sweet Pea. It's just that Sweet Pea was the greatest defensive fighter, at least of that generation. You go back to Willie Pep to find someone that was maybe on that level. And Floyd came along and he became the great defensive fighter. I think Shakur has a chance to be that guy, and this is the exact kind of fight where he can prove he's that guy. Statistically, he is. Like, look at some of these numbers. He doesn't get hit. he's impossible to hit. So if he's impossible to hit in this fight, he's going to win in a big way. 2 follow-ups on this. One, I mentioned the Zepeda-Tevin Farmer fight. Zepeda won both fights, but they were competitive, especially the first one. Do you think that Tevin Farmer exposed anything in William Zepeda?
Yeah, you have to do that. You have to give credit to Tevin Farmer because he probably should have won that first fight. I mean, both of them were ultra competitive, and Farmer's not a puncher. He was able to knock down this Iron Chin Mexican that comes forward, breaking records and throwing punches. So yes, he did expose him a little bit. And the fact that Shakur fights totally different than Farmer. Farmer's in his mid-30s. He doesn't have the legs and the quick twitch muscles that Shakur has. So I think Shakur is going to give headaches to Zepeda, and the more this fight goes into the later rounds, it's going to benefit Zepeda. It's going to benefit Shakur with the accuracy, the precision in his punches. He doesn't have the power, but precision can translate into power whenever you have someone so aggressive. And I think that's the reason I'm picking Shakur by even stoppage, late round stoppage, because when you have that aggression, when coming forward towards you, you're actually helping the defensive fighter punch harder because you're meeting them halfway with that velocity. So yeah, I really like Stevenson. It's going to be his coming out party on the big stage. And if he can get that knockout like I'm predicting, we got a new star.
Yeah, I think for Zepeda, you can't get discouraged if you can't hit Shakur early. You got to keep coming. You got to keep coming. You got to keep throwing. And I agree with you. It does expose himself to counter shots and potentially being knocked out. But he is who he is, right? Like, he's not, due respect to Zepeda, like, he's not some kind of ring tactician. Like, he's not cutting the ring off like Golovkin did in his best days. Like, he's coming straight at you, straight line. He's got to keep doing that. He's got to do that for all 12 rounds if that's how far that goes. That's his best chance to win the fight. The one question I have about Shakur is, will his hands hold up? Like, I've been talking to Shakur and to people around him about this week, and he's been dealing with hand injuries for basically the last 7 fights. They've become more high profile in recent fights. You had the De Los Santos win, which was a dud because Shakur came into that fight with a hand injury. And then you had the surgery in between that after getting hurt during training. And then the most recent fight against Josh Padley, where Shakur hurt his left hand in that fight. Struggled early on in that fight because he couldn't let his hands go the way he wanted to. When I talked to Shakur, he told me about the hand. He said he hurt both hands really in that Padley fight, but the left hand was the one that really bothered him right after. And he said if he could have had it his way, he would have had this fight at a different date. Like, it's a pretty quick turnaround for a guy with a hand injury, going from February to July. So that just makes me think, Sergio, like, is there a chance that we could see Shakur suffer another one of these injuries? And if he does, this is the wrong guy to not be able to use one hand against. You got to have both hands ready to go against a guy like this. Like, how as a fighter who's probably dealt with hand injuries yourself, like, how concerned would you be if you see in, like, the second round, Shakur's going like this and, like, shaking his wrist and wondering, like, what's going on with that hand?
Every fighter faces hand injuries, rib injuries. Those are the two that you can't hide, you can't protect. But the thing about the hands is that you can put extra tape, extra gauze. Since you've had sensitive hands your entire career, you know how to actually, put comfort in those hands and then pick a certain style of gloves that are a little bit more cushy. So I think Shakur Stevenson's hands aren't going to be an issue here, even if he does injure a hand here, because like Marvin Hagler say, if you injure your right hand, you always got the left hand. That's just the mentality that champions bring to the table. And with his quick reflexes, his speed, his footwork, even with one hand, I think he can outbox aggression of
So
Zepeda.
doesn't he, by the way. Like when I talked to him and I talked to his grandfather / trainer, Wally Moses, and I asked him this question, like, what if your hander? He's like, doesn't matter.
Told you.
We're going to push through and do it. But I believe a fighter, I know they're going to say that. I'm just saying, if he can't throw the left hand with the kind of power you need, I think it's going to be a problem in this fight. I really do. And I think he's had Look, one thing I give Shakur credit for is that in the last year or so, he's identified the problem, right? Like he uses the rubber ball every single day. He uses that extensor machine or the glove every single day. He has a therapist that comes in almost every day to give him this electroshock therapy that gets the blood flowing in his hand. So he is doing everything he can to treat the issues in his hand. But if it comes up again, I don't know, man. I think if it comes up again after the fight, we might be talking about that being a difference. That giving Zepeda the opening to go and get a win.
Well, not only when that happens, if the hand injuries are that serious, cortisone shots are what fighters actually rely on. They'll go numb their hand before a fight. I've done that in the past. So I think Shakur Stevenson's hands, even they are fragile, they're going to be all right because like they said, like his trainer said, hey, listen, man, we're that skilled. We have that much belief in, one-handed boxer being so great because when you're that gifted with speed and talent and footwork, and especially from that southpaw, style, you're just blessed with something that a lot of fighters aren't blessed with. So you have that advantage even with one hand.
Well, Sergio, I want to thank you for letting me be part of the Sergio Mora Show.
Oh, thank you. Yeah.
It's been a pleasure to be sitting here in a secondary co-host position alongside you on your program.
I wish I could fake that laugh again, but I can't.
Wait, we've got it.